I just couldn't hold it any longer, so I decided to get on here earlier. Uh, First things first, you guys see these beautiful hats, 504 cut hats, uh, coffee mugs, shirts, everything at the bottom of the video, all my videos. Um, it's very sad the state where the world at. It's very sad because I got the thumbnail basically saying what it is because that's one of Tupac lines. That's one of Tupac lines, the rapper, the late great Tupac. And he said they got money for walls but can't feed the poor. And it makes a lot of sense because we're looking at it at its finest right now. Um, of course, we know Biden just sent another 400 million to Ukraine. We know that America has supplied Ukraine with a total of $55 billion. And we know that other countries have supplied Ukraine with money for that war, right? Now, we got countries like Venezuela, we got countries like Sri Lanka. Those are just two of them that ring a bell in my head, right? We got countries where there's kids. If the adults are hungry, the kids are hungry, right? I don't understand why would countries spend money for war on a war, but they're allowing kids to walk around hungry in other countries. Make it make sense, you know. So you'll give another adult money to fund a situation where he's gonna annihilate kids and women, rather than feeding kids and women that's hungry somewhere else. And this is just not United States. It's multiple countries. That's why I put that picture in there with those countries, guys. It's multiple countries, and it's just sad because it's just sad because how did we get to that place? How did we get to that place? It's a man in Venezuela on the thumbnail who's eating out of the trash. He's eating out of the trash. He's pretty much eating somebody else's garbage. You know, Walmart, uh, your grocery store, all that food that they have, if it hit an expiration date, they're throwing that in the trash. They're throwing that in the trash, and it's a man who's eating restaurants at the next day or whatever. They're throwing that food in the trash. You know, we got plates. People got plates of food. They don't finish. They throw that in the trash, and it's millions and millions and millions of people across the whole planet that's actually hungry that don't have no food. And we can come to a situation just as if, well, we don't have any food, and I always utilize Hurricane Katrina when I went through it as a similarity because when Hurricane Katrina happened, no one on the Gulf Coast thought that it'd be that devastating, especially in New Orleans. And I remember it so vivid because it was like a time in my life where it was so everything was so surreal. The real life wasn't there, right? It was more like a fiction life. Every day you wake up, you think you're gonna wake up, and not knowing that tomorrow not promised. And I say that to say this about Hurricane Katrina to compare it with hunger and stuff, right? Well, when Hurricane Katrina happened, the power went out and the water rise, and when the power went out, after about 3 days, if you didn't have anything in your freezer, that if you didn't know anything about survival mode, that food after about 4 days went bad. It spoiled on you. And if you didn't have no barbecue grill, you know, or no camping stove, anything like that, you couldn't cook anything because you didn't have no electric. And you didn't have no sanitation because the no electric, no plumbing work, right? So these are events that some people have actually gone through in other countries. I went through it briefly for about 9 days for about 9 days with New Orleans, 8 days with New Orleans, And I can only imagine with somebody going through it for months and years. Um, the monetary system in New Orleans was nothing because you didn't have no electric. You couldn't go to the ATM machine. You couldn't go to no bank. You couldn't, it wasn't no real bills because how you gonna pay them? You couldn't pay anything. Um, Water was an asset at that point in time. Little juices was an asset. A lighter was an asset. Matches was an asset. Um, a can opener was an asset. Manual can opener. Cigarettes was an asset. These the things that were assets when Hurricane Katrina happened. Canes were asset. Cane goods were assets. They were assets. Because the dollar didn't have any value, right? And this is where it seems like that they're trying to bring the world. They're trying to bring the world to where it's no value in the dollar with the inflation and all these types of things. You know, California, the state of California, even about to bring back the mask because of the invisible enemy. Alaska have bought back the mask in their parks. You know, this is the state of the world, and we as a people don't see what they're doing. Like what they're doing. Salute, Vanilla. We don't see what they're doing. It's like those who lead or govern, or those who govern, is like it's by design. There's nowhere in the world Sri Lanka right now should be in a hungry state. There's nowhere in the world Venezuela should be in a hungry state. And I say these things to say this, right? Every country, every place that you go to, everywhere you go, there's land, right? There's land. There's land everywhere you go. And the creator of all, the most high, gave you land so you can grow, right? So you can grow and you can produce food, vegetation, fruits. The most high give you that, right? But there's laws and things in place where in certain areas you can't grow, governed by man, right? But those laws, when a big corporation or big business, they want to build a building structure, right, or a business structure, those laws seem to decease. Like, it's like a land could be untouchable, right? But if a big business come along, salute. If a big business come along, they can say, hey, you know what? I propose to give you XYZ amount of dollars for this property, for this land, and they could build what they want on that land. But you can't really even grow vegetation or fruit on your own land. You see, I just sit back and I pay attention to this stuff, and then I'm looking at how these videos I'm kicking them out. I'm kicking them out. Like Vanilla Hudson. Vanilla Hudson told me, I seen on one of the last videos, maybe a couple of minutes ago. Vanilla Hudson told me about Biden giving the country 400 million more. I sent Vanilla a response saying, yeah, I did a video on that about 13, 14 hours ago. I said that to say that my videos are not being sent out to you guys. They're not being put in front of you guys. That was a perfect example. Because Vanilla right now in the comment, and Vanilla be following the videos, dropping comments. But Vanilla didn't know I had created a video in regards to that 13, 14 hours ago. So when you making videos and things like that about the world and what's going on in the world, you get pushed down in the algorithm. You don't they don't pump you up in the algorithm. When I made the video with uh the guy with the chicken, that video jumped up. Like it was 50% recommendation in YouTube algorithm. You know, it jumped up. But then it's somebody that's actually, hold on, guys. Hey, guys. It was 50% in YouTube recommendation. But when I make videos talking about stuff like this, it's 19% recommended, 18% recommended, and that's because the powers that be, they don't want the world to know what's actually going on. They don't want the world to know what's actually going on. And salute Franks. It's just It's just crazy, man. When like how they feeding, how they feed, how they hunger for debt and violence. But then they want to tell you, you're restricted on what you can post or what you can put out. But you guys are funding the whole wall, and that's gonna take lives. But you guys don't want nobody to speak on it. Make it make sense. How can you fund something that's gonna take a life? How can you fund something gonna take a life? Why is there hunger? Why is there homeless? When the earth have all this land, why? Why can't why why? And people don't seem to realize that they're the 99 they're the 99% also. People who making these decisions, who make a lot of these decisions, or well rather enforce a lot of these decisions, they're the 99% themselves. And that's why I said with Justin Trudeau at that time, with the truckers, when he was saying this and that, no, this and that. And I made a video and I said that he don't realize that the same truckers he handling, or he's saying this and saying that, that's the same truckers that deliver his food too. So if the truckers in Canada go on a strike, he won't eat neither. And see, people don't realize, a lot of leadership don't realize, if you carry on your citizens, and you starve them out, or you do this like Harry John said, by design, when people catch on, they're gonna invade your space. See, you didn't did the elite do, doing, but not realizing that the night you a part of 99%, and the 99% gonna turn up on you. That's like right now with the president of Sri Lanka. Whatever the country is bankrupt, and the citizens, they went to the president residence, swimming in his pool, eating his food, doing everything, doing everything as if like when Hurricane Katrina happened. When you didn't have anything, you go scatter around and you go looking, and you go to where you know for sure that they have things. So people in Sri Lanka, they know for sure the president, he eating, he got food, he got a pool to cool off, he got water. So they went there. They went there. And they still there right now having a blast, living off the things that he have, because he didn't realize he was a part of the 99%. He was just doing a deed for the elites. He was just the leader of the corporation for the elites. And people don't realize that. People don't realize that. And that's the scary thing about it, because you got people who who doing deeds for the elites, and they don't realize they're part of the 99%. And then, yeah, they get them a little something, they throw a little something towards them to keep them quiet. But then when things hit the fan, people going where they know they have supplies, and where they know they got food, and they know they have things to go get. So you're the first target. You become the first target. Even though you did put in that work and you did them deeds, if you ain't on no helicopter somewhere on a private island or something like that, you become the target. Your place of residence become the target for anybody who hungry, because they know you got it. They know that the elite took care of you, and people don't realize that. That's why all these events are happening, because it's people who's actually paying attention, who sit back in the gap, and they're paying attention. Like, people don't know. I did a video about Joe Biden sending 5 million barrels of oil overseas. People don't know that. You know, I did a video showing what kids play on YouTube, and the kind of videos kids play with injection with needles and open organs. On the video game that kids playing. But they want videos to be kids restricted, but those kids are watching those videos and playing those videos. And how I know that? Because I got kids. You know, so the rules are governed to certain people, and the rules are not governed to certain people. And that's the crazy thing about it, because certain people are governed by rules and others are not. And people are waking up to that. Your body pump blood just like mine. You have two ears like me, two eyes like me. You are no better than who I am. And whatever you got that you accomplish on earth, that's an earthly reward. But in God's eyes, no man is bigger than the next. We all equal. No man is better than the next. We all equal in the most high eyes. In the most high eyes, we are all one. We're all equal. And some people have sold their soul for earthly rewards, not understanding that, you know, at the end, the good gonna outweigh the bad, regardless. Like you guys noticed the Georgia Guidestones got damaged, right? But they're not saying which one. See, it's not out which one. It's not out which Georgia Guidestone got damaged. And then again, you know, I don't believe that someone done that because it's 24/7 surveillance. And I recall people saying that there was a slot where people could walk and put letters into the Georgia Guidestones. People could have put notes or whatever in the Georgia Guidestones. So I don't think that someone did that. A regular person did that. I think that was a probably an inside job for whoever to get those letters or notes out of that thing. You know, what you guys think in the comment section? What y'all think in the comment section? Looking at the comments, see what y'all think. I just think, salute, Kim Anderson. It's crazy, man. I got people from all over the world that watch this channel, all over the world, all over the world, and that mean that it's like-minded people all over the world. So when you be thinking, when a person thinking something, is like-minded people all over the world. You gotta, Kim. You gotta stay prepped up. You gotta stay prepped up. Gotta stay prepped up. You never know. Look at those countries. And you can't depend on the government to give you anything because look at those countries. They bankrupt. It's a big club. And yeah, yeah. But you know what though? It's better. It's better. You spotted it, and now you're doing it. You know. Yeah, it's cameras that 24/7. It's cameras that 24/7, and that's the part that get me. That which one blew it up? Was it the one that said 500 under 500,000 humanity? Because there was one of them that said they wanted to keep humanity under 500,000 by such and such time. You know, and in order to do that, you have to put something in the air, an invisible enemy, or either you know uh, trick a person into thinking that they're getting something in their bodies that's helpful, or either you have to do a wide magnitude of things to actually get the population down to 500,000. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They definitely telling farmers to resign. Definitely. I did a video yesterday about Bill Gates. How he owned a lot of farmland. Him, Jeff Burrows, and others. They own a lot of farmland, and it's odd because it wasn't no food shortages before they started buying up all that farmland. So they are not letting the food come out. Salute, Joseph. They're not letting the food come out. They the ones they're buying up all the farmland, and they're the ones who not letting the food come out. It's not truly a food shortages. They're not letting it come out. What the food shortage is coming at is that the wildlife is being destroyed. Australia, Brazil, Alaska. Those are just some countries just some areas just to touch base. It's millions and millions of acres of wildlife that have been destroyed. So if you destroy the wildlife and you blame it on global warming, right? And then you buy up all the farmland, he who control the food control the people. So if you destroy all the wildlife, right? That mean that people can't go hunting and people can't go fishing. People can't go fishing because that's where they're testing all their nucleus and all this chemical base in the water. So they're depleting the fishes anyway. The fishing has been getting depleting for years. Yeah, yeah. And we might be going to the Alchemist Prime where you have to actually literally have a garden. We might be going to that. Yeah, I agree with you, Salt Laker. But I don't understand like but I don't understand they actually preventing the food from coming out. They're actually preventing the food from coming out. I mean, they own so much of farmland, they preventing the food from coming out. It's not. I mean, when you think about I'm gonna use America, and I know I got people from all over, but America is a country that get all 4 seasons. America get all 4 seasons. You know how some countries are just dry. In America, the country got all 4 seasons pretty much in the regions. You got spring, and the climate is just different. So you can in up north you're gonna get the snow, pretty much. The south you're gonna get the hot, pretty much. The east you're gonna get the cool. I mean the east you're gonna get the cold. The west you're gonna get the windy type things. So you got a climate for to grow everything in the United States, right? And yet there's still a shortage, and that's because all the farmland is owned by elites. And see, they're not talking about that. They're not. See, the media not talk. The media not asking when they talk about farmland and crops and this and that. Why they don't talk about who own it? Why they don't talk about Bill Gates buying it all and Jeff Burrows buying it, Bezos buying it all? Why they don't talk about that? The land has not been able to put forth an amount of food for the people. Nah, because then you question the Most High. The Most High give His people what they need to survive. It's the mad scientists that's actually tampering with God creation, and the mad scientists is the ones that actually got it to a place where the food ain't being provided as it should. India farmers, wow, wow. Well, salute you for I salute you for that, but I got a different belief. The Most High is the Most High. That's the whole thing. Think about it, right? And I'm gonna say Dr. Fauci, right? He said trust the science, right? When millions and millions of people were saying that antibodies, right? So when you think about it from this point of view, who's the greatest scientist of all? The Most High, the one who created everything. So so many people turned their faith from the Most High and put it into trusting the science, and that's why we back at where we at. That's why we back where we at. Too many people they put their faith in science, and they got away from the Most High, and that's why we back where we at. That's why California about to go back into mass. That's why Alaska is mass mandated, going backwards, going backwards. And you guys who've been with me, you guys know I speak about the Most High pretty much every video. You know, um, pretty much every video because I'm not gonna give these mad scientists the credit of the Most High. I just refuse to do it. And I know that not everybody believe, in the Most High, but I do. And that's just how I stand on that. I'm not gonna change that. And it's crazy because how can like the Pope, the Pope on down should be feeding the homeless. I mean, should be feeding hunger. The Pope on down. The Pope should tell all his churches that's under Christianity not to lock their doors and allow homeless people to sleep in the church. That's what the Pope should do. The Pope is the leader of the Christian church. So that means everything that falls under Christian, it don't matter what the denomination, it's still governed by the Pope. The Pope should tell the church not to lock its doors and allow homeless to sleep in the church. And the Pope he should definitely tell his church that. So it shouldn't be homeless people. It shouldn't be a rich pastor or a rich priest or a rich individual into religion and as hungry people. It shouldn't be. How can you be rich and you speaking the word of God and there's somebody in your city or in your state or in your community hungry? How? How could you drive by somebody, you're a man of God, and this person is hungry? How? And you driving around in one of the most expensive vehicles and have one of the largest houses on the planet? How? How? That's why I would say the Most High, and I never said a lane because every religion have a lane where there's people who's people who's benefactors. Every religion have a lane where there's somebody who's a benefactor. So I say the Most High. I give all glory to the Most High because that's very hypocritic for somebody to be a benefactor or have riches and they believe in religion. Because there shouldn't be no one hungry or homeless. Why is it that the pastor have a church and a home, but then there's people who's homeless? Only one way. There's only one way, and that's to have intimacy. It's the only way. Yes, they do. They do. They do. They do. And but that's why it's not just about Catholic though. It's like that's why to tell you guys how I came to the conclusion just the Most High, right? I came to that conclusion because I always was trying to figure out why Muslims and Christians don't get along, right? To some degree. And then I realized that Muslims, they believe that Abraham firstborn was the maid child, and Christians believe that Abraham firstborn was the wife child. And then I realized that if they would stop right there and just say that they both worship the God of Abraham, then there won't be no conflict of interest. But that's too simple. It got to be conflict because why? Conflict keep people divided. Division, you can keep people distracted, and then you can continue to control people if they divided and they distracted. So the narrative, it fits good for controlling people. Meanwhile, you control the people distracting them, but meanwhile you're doing the most evil things that a person can do. You know, the most evil things a person can do. So that's how I put two and two together, and I say, you know what, moving forward, I'm not gonna say this lane or that lane no more. I'm just gonna say the Most High because it don't make sense. Because every religion had one Most High, and so be it. Whatever that individual Most High is, that's my Most High. That's my Most High, the one who created everything. So it is no right or wrong with who is the Most High because we both believe that the Most High created everything. So there's no right or wrong. But the lanes can cause confusion and cause an issue on how we get there can very much cause a conflict of interest. And that's called exactly, Harry. That goes back to the indoctrination. That's why I was putting them indoctrination videos out. They catch the kids they catch when you're kids, when you're a child. The indoctrination start. Indoctrination start when you're a child. Ask yourself this. Ask yourself this. What politician, right? Rather from you being a child to now, what politician went to school with one of your kids or went to school with you? None, because they go to schools together. They are taught different than what you're taught. They're taught to be leaders and rulers. You're taught to be a laborer. They're taught to make decisions on what you do. it's no politician. It's not. It's no. I ain't talking about on a lower level, like within the city or within your county. I'm talking about, uh, you know, politicians. That's way up there. None. You ain't gonna tell me a politician that you went to school with, or you ain't gonna tell me a politician that that grew up in your community. They all grew up in the same area. That's why they all buddy off camera, but on camera they act like they don't like one another because they all grew up together. That's why people say that they bloodlines and all this. It's not really their bloodlines. They just grew up in the same. It's a community. Politicians grew up in. It's a community factor. It's a community base. That's why all of the Bushes they went to Ivy League schools. I mean that's just the thing to do. It's the thing to do. They teach their kids to go to school to be leaders in the community, politicians, and you teach your kid, and they tell you to tell your kid, we need more policemen, we need more judges, we need more lawyers, we need more construction workers. But they're telling their kids to go be the governor, you know, the state representative, the president. That's what they're telling their kids to be. And then they're putting their kids in place where their kids can actually do that because they have the resources. They're the ones with the true resources. You don't have the resources. Why? Because you are labor to the system. You're going to be whatever your trade was that you probably picked up because school don't teach really trades. Whatever you picked up, you got student loan debt coming out of college, and you got all these different things going on, and yet their kids going to school and to be to lead you and tell you what not and make rules for what you can and what you can't do, and to actually play on your social security benefits and your pensions and all these things. Tell you what to do. Tell you got to pay tax money to pay them. That's a slick ass game. They got their kids going to school to tell you to pay tax money so they could get paid. So you're going to do the labor, and you're going to pay them to make decisions for you. That's all the politician is. It's somebody that the laborers are paying to make decisions for them. Yeah, they control. I was trying. They control us on a whole nother level. A whole nother level. It's playing A, B, C, all the way to Z. They control us on a whole nother level. If we catch up on salute Joseph, if we catch up on plane G, they on the plane H. There's a whole nother level because the indoctrination really started. You see, what you think broke the news? Biden sent 5 million barrels of oil overseas with inflation in America. Biden sent 400 million more to Ukraine. No, that ain't break the news. You know what broke the news? What broke the news was this: Biden signed executive order to reverse Roe versus Wade. Right? That's what Biden signed, and the reason why that broke the news because that was gonna cause that's a distraction. They know that there's people on both sides of the fence that gonna come out and vicar, but they ain't talk about the money he sent to Ukraine or the oil because guess what? Those same people that will vicar over Roe versus Wade, they will come together and be like, "Oh, he tripping." So they ain't gonna put that on. They ain't gonna put that out there in the public eye. They're gonna put the controversy out, and that way, the other stuff can just roll through smooth. So it's a diversion. Yes, Kim, I know about the Stroman law, where it's two U's. That's why all your mail have capital letters, that's the business U. And when you sign your name with small letters, that's you. Your mom signed the birth certificate. She signed you and put you in the corporation. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy how these things are happening. It's crazy. It's crazy, and it's so blatant, guys. It's so blatant. It's like it's like I spoke on it in Katrina with electric earlier, right? Now, if you know that if power fail and you know that everything is shut down from sanitation to cooking to everything, why would you want to go electrical, everything. Why would you want to go green? Make it make sense. Why would you want to go green when you know when you seen what Hurricane Katrina done in the Gulf Coast when it knocked out all the power? It was devastating. When Texas lost power with the ice storm, it was devastating. So why would you put yourself at the mercy of going green, where if you lose the power for any situation, it's gonna be a chaotic situation. Unless you plan on pulling the plug and creating a chaotic situation. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. But guys, this 504 cut, I locked in. I came on earlier because I wanted to get this off my chest about Tupac. He made that statement, and that statement staying true in today's time. They would rather fund the war than feed the poor. And as you can see, all these countries have came up with all this money for this war. And they got hungry people in multiple countries within their own country. But they will fund the war to take a life rather than feeding a life. Salute. This 504 cut. I'm out.